Good evening. Welcome to Washington. I'm Brett Baer. An administration under fire tonight, and at this hour, there's no sign that anyone's backing down. The president's pick for VA Secretary, Dr. Ronny Jackson, plans to stand firm against allegations of improper conduct and to press forward with his nomination. Attorney General Jeff Sessions gets into a testy exchange on Capitol Hill over presidential pardons, and the OMB director and current head of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, Mick Mulvaney, pushes back hard on newspaper reports about comments he made in a speech this week about lobbyists' access to his congressional office. It's Wednesday at the White House. Chief White House correspondent John Roberts joins us from the North Lawn with the latest. Good evening, John.
Good evening to you, Brett, and a busy one it is. Today, Democrats, without any evidence to back it up, released a laundry list of allegations and accusations against Dr. Ronny Jackson, the man that the president wants to lead the Veterans Affairs Administration. Among the allegations are accusations that he mishandled opioid drugs and that at a Secret Service party, he got drunk and wrecked a government vehicle. After meeting with the press secretary and chief of staff late today, Dr. Ronny Jackson dismissed new Democratic allegations that he wrecked a government vehicle after getting drunk at a Secret Service party, insisting it never happened and that he is going to go ahead with the confirmation process. The press secretary today saying none of the allegations now raised about Jackson were uncovered in successive background checks.
Dr. Jackson has had at least 4 independent background investigations conducted during his time at the White House. During each of those investigations, Dr. Jackson received unanimous praise from dozens of witnesses, and the investigations revealed no areas of concern.
Sarah Sanders also noting that none of the allegations were raised before Jackson's nomination. But the background check should have picked up a medical inspector general's report in 2012 that found Dr. Jackson exhibited poor leadership in a dispute with a colleague, and as a result of the dispute, overall unit morale is a 2 on a scale of 1 to 10. One of Jackson's biggest detractors is Montana Democratic Senator Jon Tester, the ranking member of the VA committee, who insists Jackson has problems beyond leadership.
This doctor has a problem because he hands out prescriptions like candy. In fact, in the White House, they call him the candy man. The word is that on overseas trips in particular, that Admiral would go down the aisleway of the airplane and say, all right, who wants to go to sleep, and hand out the prescription drugs.
On overnight overseas trips, White House doctors do offer staff, even journalists aboard Air Force One, sleep aids.
I recommend that everyone on the plane take a sleep aid at certain times.
The Pentagon does the same on trips with the Secretary of Defense. But the pills given out are recorded with names and dosages. Tester's Candyman comment drew a sharp response from the White House Legislative Affairs Director.
It was absolutely unfair for him to drop the Candyman line. I think that there have been multiple, every year they come in and they do a review of the White House Physician's Office on things like prescriptions, and every year they've said that he's totally in compliance with what he's been prescribing.
The White House continues to push VA Committee Chairman Senator Johnny Isakson to reschedule Jackson's confirmation hearing. Also on Capitol Hill today, Attorney General Jeff Sessions under fire over reports his recusal from the Russia investigation does not extend to the investigation of Michael Cohen.
Are you recused from the federal investigation of the president's attorney, Michael Cohen?
It is the policy of the Department of Justice that those who recuse themselves not state the details of it.
And Sessions got into a heated exchange with Democratic Senator Chris Van Hollen over presidential pardons and whether they went through the appropriate process.
Did the pardon of Sheriff Joseph Arpaio go through the pardon attorney office?
I don't believe it did.
Yeah. Did the pardon of Scooter Libby go through that office?
I don't believe it did.
I'm quoting from a statement you made saying it was abuse of process in a particular case made by President Clinton.
I would just say the pardons President Clinton made were stunning, shocking, and unacceptable on the merits.
And also facing heat today, the president's budget director, Mick Mulvaney, over comments he made yesterday in a speech to bankers and payday lenders. Speaking as the head of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, Mulvaney told the group it was important to make personal contact with their member of Congress to get things done. Mulvaney saying, "We had a hierarchy in my office in Congress. If you were a lobbyist who never gave us money, I didn't talk to you. If you were a lobbyist who gave us money, I might talk to you. If you came from back home and sat in my lobby, I talked to you without exception, regardless of the financial contributions. Democrats pounced on the remarks, slamming Mulvaney for promoting pay-to-play. In a statement, Ohio Senator Sherrod Brown ripping the kind of pay-to-play that understandably makes Americans furious with Washington, D.C. Mr. Mulvaney should resign. Mulvaney's spokesman insisted to Fox News that his comments were taken out of context, that he was merely praising the group for coming to Washington, D.C. and making the effort to go knock on doors on Capitol Hill. And a development late this afternoon in the Mueller investigation. Sources tell Fox News that Rudy Giuliani has taken over negotiations with the special counsel Robert Mueller for a possible interview with President Trump. President Trump has said he has said in the past that he's open to the idea, but he's not sold on it. Rudy Giuliani passing that message along to Robert Mueller. And just to finish off, Brett, where we started today, the White House would like to see Dr. Ronny Jackson get a hearing in the Senate on his nomination, but at this moment tonight, they don't know whether he will stay in or whether he will leave. One official telling me if it was them, they would get out. Brett?
John Roberts, busy day again on the North Lawn at the White House. John, thanks.